I will now present to you the 6 generations of the Cthulhu Mythos. We begin with the first generation of authors who heavily inspired a young Lovecraft, the Proto-Mythos Era. His top 3 are Edgar Allan Poe, Lord Dunsany, and Arthur Machen, followed closely by Algernon Blackwood, Ambrose Bierce, and Robert W. Chambers. Lovecraft's first published story was The Alchemist, which appeared in the November 1916 issue of the United Amateur. Written when he was only 17, this would be the beginning of the golden era of the Cthulhu Mythos, as he and his friends would begin creating one of the first shared universes and come to be referred to as the Lovecraft Circle, which included great authors such as Robert E. Howard, Clark Ashton Smith, Robert Bloch, and Frank Belknap Long. This golden era would naturally end upon Lovecraft's death in 1937. Arkham House was founded in 1939 by August Derleth and Donald Wandry. The primary purpose of the press was to preserve and publish the works of Lovecraft, whose writings were scattered across pulp magazines and at risk of being forgotten. Derleth did not directly co-write any stories with Lovecraft during his lifetime, but instead wrote several stories based on Lovecraft's notes, unfinished drafts, or general ideas. Most scholars view these works as Derleth's own and only tangentially related. So as scummy as that all sounds, we do owe Derleth a debt of gratitude for ensuring Lovecraft did not slip away into obscurity. Sadly, most of the Lovecraft circle moved on from the mythos after Lovecraft's passing. But literary critics S.T. Joshi and Robert M. Price published books about Lovecraft's works in 73, 77, and 79. And let's not forget H.R. Giger's Necronomicons and the Alien series which it birthed. Also during this time, Ballantine Books published several anthologies of Lovecraft's work, with the first printing in 1971. They would have 9 printings continued through their imprint Del Rey Books all the way through 1991. This priming of Lovecraft's future fame and notoriety was about to explode with the new decade and properly secure his place in the history of literature. This was the beginning of the Bronze Age of the Cthulhu Mythos. In 1981, Chaosium introduced the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, and the third printing of Lovecraft's anthologies in 1981 set the imaginations on fire of the young Gen X gamers and readers. It was helped along a bit by authors such as Brian Lumley, but the real heavy lifting would be done by writer-director Stuart Gordon with his Lovecraft film adaptations Reanimator, From Beyond, Castle Freak, and Dagon. And many agree that the most credit actually goes to John Carpenter's heavily inspired cosmic horror films The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness. It is with Gordon's film Dagon, released in 2001, that we end the Bronze Era of the Cthulhu Mythos. Which brings us to the 5th and most calamitous generation of the Cthulhu Mythos, the Lead Era, from 2002 to 2013, because lead is often used to represent the worst or lowest ranking. The 2000s were not a good decade for the mythos after Dagon. We got the glitchy video game Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth in 2005, the Cthulhu Mythos card game in 2007, the silent film adaptation of the Call of Cthulhu by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society in 2005, and the middle-of-the-road Stephen King film The Mist, with its weak-ass ending, in 2007. That's it. Of the last 5 decades, the 2000s were the only one without an Evil Dead film. That's how bad it was for the mythos during that time. So let's quickly move past it, which brings us to the 6th and final generation of the Cthulhu Mythos, the Diamond Era of modern times. Fortunately, it all got back on track in the 2010s, and things couldn't be better. In 2014, Chaosium published the 7th edition of the Call of Cthulhu RPG. The Facebook group of the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society was chugging away and currently sits at 223,137 members. And the most important turning point for the mythos? The founding of the First United Church of Cthulhu, also in 2014. We've seen dozens of pretenders come and go. We have outlasted them all. While Cthulhu Mythos literature has proliferated, it still is not even at the level of the 80s. Extremist activists tried their hardest to add the dead man to their cancel culture roster, but this backfired and only made him more popular as younger generations sought out who this Lovecraft guy was that everyone was suddenly screaming about. There's been a glut of other RPGs, card and board games, but most of the movies have been cheap and bad. It was the video games. Oh, the video games, which truly skyrocketed awareness of the Cthulhu Mythos. Cthulhu Mythos. And this makes sense considering video games have become king of all media, making 100 billion more worldwide than books, music, films, and adult entertainment combined. With the big titles being Bloodborne 2015, Fallout 2015, Darkest Dungeon 2016, The Glitchy Call of Cthulhu 2018, Tesla vs. Lovecraft 2018, The Sinking City 2019, Lovecraft's Untold Stories 2019, one of my personal favorites, The Shore 2021, Forgive Me Father 2022, Scorn 2022, and Sucker for Love Dating Sim 2022 and 2024. And there are tons more. Cosmic horror and the Cthulhu Mythos have never been more popular and has become firmly ingrained in modern culture. And things are about to get even crazier. I really don't care what your opinion is on AI, because that is the future. It's not going away. And I am going to make so much awesome Mythos animated films. The video generating and editing software is about 90% ready to go for traditional animation. Photorealistic still has a ways to go. And in about 2 to 3 more years, we will be able to start creating our own Mythos video games with AI. We will become the new Lovecraft Circle, making new media for our community, where we can all add to it. Collaborative storytelling for the 21st century. The future is bright. So be sure to subscribe for more horror, occult, and Lovecraft madness. Until next time, Cthulhu Mythos.